And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I hope you're having yourselves a tremendous morning this morning. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate your patience. The annoying moment of the week, which is why we are behind schedule. So I had some things set up for the annoying moment of the week, and we're going to get to those too. But I definitely have an annoying moment of the week that showed its ugly head this morning and last night. So we'll talk about the annoying moment of the week, which presented itself very simply here on the show. So we'll make sure that we do that. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, we appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time, and definitely thank you for hanging out with us here on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're connected to us, we thank you so much. Inside of Mon Paz, popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Mon Paz, the snack capital that you need to find your way to on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. They have everything that your taste buds need, whether it's sweet or savory you're looking for. We watch movies, we go on trips, whether we're on a plane or taking a little road trip, hanging out with the fam, watching some Netflix, going to the movies or going to a game or watching the game at home in our den, whatever it may be, Mon Paz has the snack for the occasion. Kettle corn, popcorn, chocolate-dipped Oreos, chocolate-dipped pretzels, cotton candy, lemonade, all of those awesome flavors. 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Make sure you head out there today. Inside of Mon Paz, popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. The annoying moment of the week is going to start things off, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. Then we'll be joined by LEAD, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, the acronym created here in our segment with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Make sure you head out to Chick-fil-A Cicero on 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, New York, and at Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 New York Route 31 in Liverpool. And then we'll bring you at the top of the second hour, the top dog of the week. So at the top of the hour, the top dog comes to you. K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding working with me to provide this segment with you as they proudly present it to you. And I'll announce my top dog of the week at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Then we'll jump into my live one-on-one conversation with one of my favorite coaches and one of my favorite names in the world, Ken Niumatalolo, joining the show. Ken going to be on the broadcast here around 10:20 a.m. Eastern Time. He'll bring us to the end of the show, coming on the heels of him becoming the UCLA Bruins tight ends coach. We'll speak with him on that opportunity, as well as the state of college football. All of that here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora this morning. Let's jump into the annoying moment of the week. This is going to be so easy for me.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. This is an easy one. Now, I know that technology is something that we use here on the show very frequently to do the things that we need to do to get things done, right? It's how we reach you all over the world, all that good stuff. And you know that over time, sometimes things don't work. Sometimes things have issues. Sometimes companies are not prepared. Sometimes the equipment just doesn't want to work. Sometimes something that works every single day decides today's the day I'm not going to do it. And my printer last night decided to stop working. Now, there's nothing wrong with the printer that I know of. There's nothing wrong with the printer that I can see. The printer continues to go. The printer continues to live. The printer continues to do its thing. I don't understand why the printer's not printing, but it just simply doesn't want to print this morning. I don't know why. It didn't want to print last night either. It's just in this like mode where it kind of just wants to do itself. I just kind of want to be me. I want to rediscover what my plan is for my life. I have no idea what the issue is. But the printer, good morning to Alan, the printer just does not want to work at all. Now, I have troubleshot the printer. I have tried to actually shoot the printer. I'm kidding. And, but I did. I troubleshot the printer. My printer was not printing color. And then my printer started printing color. And then now my printer's like, yeah, I think I'm just going to take a break. I think I'm just going to be off for the day, last night, today, and I don't know what it's doing. I really genuinely don't know what it's doing or why it's doing it. If anybody knows how to fix an HP printer, please let me know. But it just, in all seriousness, folks, this printer's, it has its moments, but doesn't every printer have its moments? I feel like all of us have a printer story where we're like, yeah, the printer worked today, and then it worked yesterday, and it worked for 27 years, and then it just didn't work for a day, and then I tapped it, and then it worked again, or then I did the exact same thing to it today that I did to it yesterday, but today it worked, and yesterday it said no thank you. I don't know what goes on in the mind of a printer, but I it's like, I got to print stuff out, as a business owner, I like to keep it in-house, print my stuff here, not have to run around paying all this, that, and the third to get something done. So I'm just trying to print it out, man. I'm just trying to do my thing, just trying to live my life, and it doesn't want to do it. It just doesn't want to do it today. It's not feeling it. It's not about it, and I'm about it, so I need it to be about it because, there's contingency plans, there's backup plans. Hey, if I can't do this, then I'll do that. But I pay for that ink thing where they send you that ink at, whenever you need it. So I pay for that thing and I get my ink, and now they're going to charge us $1 more because, everybody wants to charge more, which I think is ridiculous. My business has been consistent in offering good prices, offering reasonable prices, offering prices less than other places would maybe send your way. And these other companies, it's just like, why are you raising it $1? There's certain companies out there where one of them raised $1. Now this one raised $1. The irony of this is my printer stops working after they go, hey, we're going to raise you $1 now when you need something. So Jay said, sorry, Jacksonville lost. That's okay, Jay. I appreciate it. Alan said, am I trying to print from my phone? No, I'm trying to print from the laptop. We got a bunch of computers here in the studio, in the office. So we're just, trying to print through that. It's just, it doesn't want to work. And it's frustrating. And it's making me angry. Because your boy's got meetings. And I got to get things printed out. So, also, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, another annoying moment of the week. Why is it trending again, this thing about World War III? Why? Why are we trending World War III again? Why is that a thing? Does that need to be a thing right now? Is that something we need to focus on? I mean, I've seen this trending how many times over the years? World War III. And people just freaking out. The world's going to end. This is going to happen. Y2K. You wonder why people have mental health issues and why people have anxiety and stress. It's because they wake up in the morning. It's Friday. It's the end of their work week for some people. And they're like, man, I'm just so happy. They stretch out their arms. They see the sun. If they're in central New York, they see that the snow is melting away that we just got. And they go, oh, what a day. I can't wait to World War III. I'm going to go back to bed. I mean, that's the issue. That's the issue, folks. And, you know, talking about World War III all the time. It's like people want it to happen. I don't want World War III to happen. I didn't want the first two to happen. I don't think we need a sequel to the sequel. I think we're good. Always, but X can always offer you that. I use X all the time because I go out there and I share my information and it works for my company. But the other side of it is there are just a ton of crazy, rude, mean, hateful, ignorant, naive people that are on there. And, I just, now they want to talk about World War III. A couple days ago, they were probably talking about what color is Big Bird's poop. I mean, that's like the spectrum of where things can go on social media. But yeah, that was fun. Another annoying moment of the week and hopefully this printer will work by the grace of God. I feel like during the show you're just going to hear it start printing because that's just how printers work. But I have some other annoying moments I want to get to, some things that I saw here. Here's one that confused me. And here's the thing. I just watched Pierce Brosnan in the new movie The Outlaws on Netflix. Pretty good. You guys should watch it. Pierce Brosnan faces charges after allegedly walking in Yellowstone's thermal areas. So he could be going to jail after walking in thermal areas, hydrothermal areas in violation of federal law. Brosnan is facing citations of, quote, foot travel in all thermal areas and within Yellowstone Canyon confined to trails, end quote, and, quote, violating closures and use limits, end quote. Now, criminal charges were filed against him in Wyoming on Tuesday. The law states, quote, foot travel in all thermal areas and within the Yellowstone Canyon between the Upper Falls and Inspiration Point must be confined to boardwalks or trails that are maintained for such travel and are marked by official signs, end quote. So just so you know, if you decided to take a little trip to Yellowstone or you live out in the area, there are thermal areas. I didn't know that. There are places that you're not supposed to walk. I did know that. I'm not going to say that I've walked in places that I wasn't supposed to and off of trails in certain places, not in Yellowstone. But I didn't know that this was a thing, and I didn't know you could go to jail because of it, even if it was a thing. So I hope that, 007 doesn't go to jail. It would be a shame. Nobody ever caught him, but Yellowstone's, park rangers might catch him. That's not a good thing. So that's an annoying moment of the week. Another one is, let's go to where I was here. I was looking through a bunch of stuff. And, here it is. A car-sized tumbleweed made a scene on a California highway. A car-sized tumbleweed. A giant tumbleweed, roughly the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, was spotted hurtling its way down a 4-lane road in California. Yet another problem in California. California is just a problem. I just feel like, and I'm not saying that I tell you on the show all the time that it seems like bad things happen. It seems like bad ideas come from California. Maybe the tumbleweed is a way of telling people, California's a problem. This thing is huge. I'm looking at it right now. Look at this. Can you see it? Look at it. Look at that tumbleweed. It's insane. It's like Bigfoot just rolling around. This is what it said. No information about the bouncing plant carcass other than to say it was the mother of all tumbleweeds. This is crazy. Tumbleweeds aren't one specific species of plant. They fall under an umbrella of noxious weeds that when dry break off at the root, setting off on a seed spreading expedition. One of the most common and problematic for crops is the Russian thistle. See, Russia is a problem, again, in America. Shame. It's believed to have hitched a ride from Ukraine to South Dakota in a shipment of flaxseed back in the 1870s. It has plagued the country's dry and lands. This is great. In 2020, a swarm of tumbleweeds took over a stretch of Washington State Highway that piled up to 30 feet high in some places. Cars and trucks were trapped for hours. A couple of years later, about 100 homes in Victorville California were seemingly swallowed up by thousands of prickly tumbleweeds that were strewn about by 50-mile-per-hour winds. Quote, "It looked like a war of tumbleweeds, like we were being invaded," end quote, said Brian Bagwell, 42 years old. In another incident in 2014, a tumbleweed explosion knocked down fences, blocked highways, and trapped people inside their homes in Colorado. So for those of you that think that snow is a terrible thing, you should think about the fact that tumbleweeds could attack your car, your house, and disrupt your day. Just so you know, the tumbleweed could be a problem for all of us, but it's not. And hopefully it doesn't continue to be. But this one in California is mass. It's just another thing in California that makes me scratch my head. NIL also did that. There's a lot of things in California that make me wonder, and this is one of them. Now, here's the one that probably takes the cake. Now, this is a window malfunction. This could be another one. Okay, there we go. Well, this is about flying. I fly a lot. I want to get into this with you. This is an annoying moment of the week, okay? A U.S.-bound plane took off from London with 4 damaged window panes, including 2 that were completely missing. According to the UK air accident investigators, no one was injured by the window malfunctions, which appeared to have been caused by high-power lights used in a film shoot. Nice. And so the aircraft departed from London's Stansted Airport in the morning of October 4th, carrying 11 crew members and 9 passengers, not a lot of people, all of whom are employees of the, quote, tour company or the aircraft's operating company, end quote. So, yeah, this was a different one than the other one that happened. The single-aisle aircraft, an Airbus A321, can seat more than 170 passengers, with a small group of passengers were seated in the middle of the cabin, just ahead of the overwing exits. The missing windows weren't discovered until the plane was climbing at an altitude of 13,000 feet. Quote, "Several passengers recalled that after takeoff, the aircraft cabin seemed noisier and colder than they were used to," end quote. A crew member walked toward the back of the aircraft when they spotted a window seal flapping on the left side of the aircraft. The window pane appeared to have slipped down, end quote. Quote, "He described the cabin noise as loud enough to damage your hearing," end quote. So that's not good. There's also a door that blew off recently when a bunch of people were flying. I feel like these things should be checked. I've been on planes before where, you know, it could be something simple. There was one time where they had to unclog the toilet, right? Or they'll say hey, there's a button that's not lighting up, so we got to make sure that we have somebody come and look at this because all of the buttons are supposed to light up. Yeah, when a door blows off the plane, I feel like there should have been maybe someone that checked that, you know? I feel like there's maybe warning signs that could have led to one thinking that the door could be a problem. A teenage passenger had their shirt ripped off their body when a door plug blew off the Alaska Airlines plane during a flight on this past Friday. Fellow passenger Kelly Bartlett told CBS News senior transportation and national correspondent Chris Van Cleve the teenage boy was moved from his seat after the incident and sat next to her for the remainder of the harrowing flight. Bartlett described a really loud boom, quote, shortly after the Boeing 737 MAX 9 took off from Portland, Oregon, and the plane just filled with air. You could just feel the breeze. It was more than a breeze, end quote. Insane. She said the first minutes were, quote unquote, chaos. Oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling, and Bartlett said, quote, "And there was a seat next to me that was open in the middle, and somebody just kind of jumped over me, plopped down in the middle seat, grabbed a mask and put it on. It was this kid, and he didn't have a shirt on," end quote. So, I mean, I guess that's a fun story to talk about someone's shirt that got blown off. But really, what I'm happy for is that nobody got blown out of this airplane. There's this thing that you know, when you watch movies and whatnot, and you see different things that can happen. When you watch movies and anything opens up on a plane, a door, a window, because the plane is pressurized, right? When any type of open air opportunity happens, you think that things are going to get sucked out of it because that's what we've kind of seen when we've looked at any of these movies or anything like that. We've seen when there is a hole in the plane, be it a window pops open or the door opens, that because the plane is pressurized and you're up in the air, that it will suck everything. Remember watching Air Force One? That it'll suck everything out of the plane, that it will literally try to take your body and put it up against the window. So I'm happy that nobody was injured from what we heard here and from what I understand. But that's insane, and I do fly a lot, so I would like them to maybe check the doors before we leave. And so what did Alan say? Shall we discuss Fran Brown staying at SU 10 years? Yeah, I mean, Alan, he said that he wants to be there. His daughter, what do you say? My daughter's 2, and I'm going to be here until I have to, raise her from there, which would be 10 years. That would be, hey, if it works out and it's good for all parties, then why not? Greg said, DT, I was always told to make sure the printer is plugged in and try turning it on and off again. Yeah, man, that's the thing about printers, and it's the thing about Nintendo, and it's the thing about, I mean, we really do live. Remember the good old days when something didn't work and you kicked it and then it worked? I mean, but I'm literally telling you, this printer was fine. Then it started printing out black and white because I had to restart it. Then I realigned it someday. Then it started printing out color. But before it did that, it would print out color on one computer, but not on the other computer. And then it just stopped working yesterday night because it says it's not on the internet. But then it asked me to put it on the internet, and I put it on the internet, put the password on it, and then it doesn't connect. So it's having trouble connecting when it's connected just fine for a really long time. And my computer's still registering that it's there. So I don't know. You unplug it, you plug it back in, you kick it, you whisper sweet nothings into its ear. If it's Nintendo, you get that Q-tip in there, and you just do everything you can to try and work it out. It's a crazy world we live in, folks, but I would like to hope that printers will work and stop doing this phantom thing where they just stop working when nothing's happened to them. So I hope I can figure out my printer. I hope that they can figure out the bolts on airplanes to make sure the doors don't blow open when they're in the air, or, I mean, really wherever they are. And I hope that the tumbleweed crisis goes away. There's a lot of things that are annoying moments this week, and it's been pretty interesting to kind of go through the news and say, oh, okay, that's fun, that's challenging, that's interesting. So and this is gross. That's disgusting. Florida authorities killed an alligator that was seen with human remains in its mouth. Nice. So, and apparently there is a spotless giraffe running around on a reserve in Namibia. It's one of the 2 known living spotless giraffes in the world. So, when somebody says to you, like if somebody says, hey, you going to get lunch with me? And they say, does a giraffe have spots? You can now say, well, does that mean you're not coming? Because that's a dad joke. But I mean, for real, though, when someone goes, does a giraffe have spots? That means, like, yeah, I'm coming. Now that we know that 2 giraffes don't have spots, you might be in the presence of a liar. So if you say something to them, if you say, hey, man, can I trust you? And they say, does a giraffe have spots? You might want to do a background check on that person. I'm just saying, because not every giraffe has spots, and maybe they're trying to tell you something. With that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. This has been the annoying moment of the week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. What did Greg say? Did you try blowing into the cartridges? Greg, I'm willing to try anything right now. I mean, I don't know what it needs. I'll light a candle next to it. I'll sing it a song. I don't know what it wants. I don't know what type of music it's feeling today. Little Prince. I don't know. I have no idea. Oh. I mean, it could work. It could work. But, Greg, you are playing off of something that you and I both know, and this world knows. And that is when things stop working, that's when you do weird stuff to make it work again. And, isn't fixing a printer kind of like a relationship? when things stop working, you're willing to do whatever's weird to bring it back, right? You're willing to get a little weird. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding with some people. Some people are willing to get weird, but let's tailor that back. It's a family show. So we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back on Wake Up Call. It is very frustrating, and it's extremely frustrating because it just stopped working. And it's like the internet's on. Obviously, the internet's on. We're here in the studio, and the internet's working. I mean, but it's telling me it can't connect to the internet. So of all the devices that we have in the studio and the office, they are all connected except for the printer. And the printer decided to stop connecting at some point in its life within the last couple days. So, I don't know what I need to do. I have unplugged it and plugged it back in. I might offer it Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I don't know what's going to happen at this point. But if anyone can give me any type of wonderful techniques to use on my printer, you let me know. If you are a printer whisperer, I need you to whisper my way. And with that being said, this is the annoying moment of the week, the annoying moments of the week, many scoops of the annoying moment of the week. You could go get your scoops at Carvel DeWitt today, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like, and they are the exclusive home of the DT Dolphin. My Sunday with a wonderful connection to the Lemoyne Dolphins and Carvel DeWitt, the only DT Dolphin in any Carvel anywhere, and they don't have the Dolphin mold that they use is not something that Carvel has as across the board in their franchises. So arguably Carvel DeWitt could have the only Dolphin mold to use to put a Dolphin in a sundae of any Carvel anywhere you go. Make sure you head out there today to get the DT Dolphin mint chocolate chip topped off with hot fudge, whipped cream and a cherry, green and gold sprinkles, and a chocolate dolphin jumping out of your whipped cream. It looks awesome, it tastes even better, and it's available only at Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, is coming up next.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and cannot thank you enough for your support all throughout on our social media as well, which you could find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. So with that being said, let's hop into Lead, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay and their fantastic team led by their fearless leader, Jimmer Sikowski. Please continue to keep Jimmer in your prayers now and always. We appreciate everything that Jimmer has brought to our community. I appreciate everything that he's brought to my life, and honestly, just can't thank him enough for all of the love and all the kindness and all of the goodness that he has brought and his team has brought. They are tremendous people. beautiful, wonderful souls, and I'm just grateful to know them. And it's so much more than a chicken sandwich. It really is good people with a whole lot of love, and I can't say enough about it. So with that being said, we bring you Lead every single month. Learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver is the acronym. And today's topic in this edition of Lead, fearless love. Fearless love. To love without fear. Man, that's a tough thing to do, right? It's a tough thing to love without fear. To have love for somebody else without fear. Because we have fear, right? We have fear, we have doubt. What if somebody doesn't love us? Or you love your career, you love the dreams you're chasing. Well, what if it doesn't work out? What if I don't get this job? What if I don't? What if I don't? What if I don't? What if they don't? What if this doesn't work out? We have that fear that something's going to not be, right? And we get scared. We get worried, we get nervous. But God bless me. On the other side of fear is typically everything we could ever want. On the other side of fear is where a lot of things lie. There's the notion that people that achieve greatness in their lives, what they consider greatness, when they achieve their dreams and their aspirations and their goals, the people that don't settle, there's the argument that they achieve those things by getting on the other side of fear, that they achieve those things because they didn't allow themselves to be consumed by fear, to be used by fear, to be stopped by fear, to be threatened by fear. Everybody gets afraid. If somebody tells you they've never been afraid of anything, well, they might be a serial killer. I mean, so there's something that we've all been afraid of at some point. There's something that we've had to overcome at some point. And when you're going through life, it's easy to be afraid. It's easy to think, oh, maybe this isn't going to work out. Maybe this isn't going to be. Maybe life is not going to, be what I think it is. Maybe I can't have this. Maybe I can't have that. Maybe I don't deserve that. Maybe I don't deserve this. Fear sinks into everybody if you let it. Fear tries to. Fear is always there. Fear is the devil's tool, though. It's not God's tool. Fear does not come from God. God does not say, hey, I want you to go curl up in a corner and be afraid. God says, wake up, stand up, get up, let's do it. And when you look at life and you look at the challenges that life brings, challenges that we bring upon ourselves, challenges that are brought out of our control upon us, it is so easy to cower. It is so easy to run. It is so easy to fear. It is so easy to just think we can't. It is so easy to think that we cannot, that we will not. And I feel like when people say, what's the difference between a successful person and somebody who doesn't achieve their dreams and their goals and their aspirations, I would say the successful people, the people that you regard as quote-unquote successful, are the people that see the fear and say, you're not going to get me. You can't have me. When you don't quit, you don't fail yourself. And that's what I think that people don't understand. People talk about failure all the time. I failed this, I failed that. I don't believe that I have failed in my career when I'm chasing my dreams. I don't believe that I've failed when I've tried to be a really good friend and be there for somebody and do everything that I can. I don't believe that I've failed as a son or failed as a father to Lily when, I give all I can. I think failure comes when I didn't give my best effort. I didn't do the best I could. I didn't put my best foot forward. I didn't go out there and do everything that I could do, that I know that I could do, that I should have done. Life is not easy, folks. It's not. It's not easy. And the thing that we have to realize about life is, as much as it's not easy, it's so worth it. It is so worth it to live and to chase the things that we want in our lives, to have fearless love. Fearless love. Fearless love for God, fearless love for ourselves, fearless love for those that we care about so deeply, fearless love for the want for the world to be healthy and safe and happy and good. Fearless love for our dreams. When you attack the world with fearless love, what I mean by that is that you are willing to love even if you lose. You're willing to love your friends to the best of your ability, even if they stop being your friends. You're willing to love your significant other, even if someday they go, you know what, I don't want to be here. You're willing to fall in love and have someone go, I don't want to go to the prom with you. I don't want to date you anymore. I don't want to give you the time of day. You're willing to love your career and go after it when you hear no after no after no after no, when somebody does you dirty, when something doesn't work out, when you don't get what you want the first time. See, you can love things in life, or you can think that you love things in life. When you think you love things in life, you'll quit a million times. Oh, I love this. And then something happens and it tests you and you're like, you know what, forget all that. And you don't really love it. But when you love something, you're going to fight. When you love something, you're going to try. When you love something, it's going to matter to you. That's the thing, is are people getting married today, when we talk about, divorce rate being, half of the marriages, are people marrying each other because they truly fearlessly love each other, or are they marrying each other because it's convenient? Are they marrying each other because they're old and they don't want to wait any longer? Like in their mind, they're like, I'm 30, I got to have kids now, da-da-da-da-da, which isn't old at all. But the mentality, are you getting married because you want to have kids? Are you getting married for money? Are you getting married because you think they look really hot? Are you getting married because it'll be a better life for you and you don't have to do that much? Are you getting married because, this person has scared you into thinking that you have to be with them and that you'll never find somebody else? What are your reasons? Because if your reason is not to fearlessly love, you're not marrying the right person. If you're chasing a career for the money, you're chasing a career for the notoriety, for the claps, for the tweets, for the likes on Facebook and Instagram. If you're chasing a career just so you can keep getting more and more and more and more and more of the money and the likes and the money and the likes and the money and the likes and the money and the likes, you're not fearlessly loving it. You're chasing something that's going to constantly let you down. See, when you love something, you love it when nobody's there. You love it when everybody's there. You love it when the room is full. You love it when the room is empty. You love it when one person shows up to your event. You love it when 1,000 people show up to your event, when 10 people show up to your event, when 1,000,000 people show up to your event, because you love it. Fearlessly. We got to get back to fearless love. A bunch of passionate people being positive, using their energy to chase their dreams and go after the things they want and surround themselves with good energy. That's going to change the world. See, people talk about the world's so hard to change. It's not. If each individual fearlessly loved, if each individual put hate aside, put love as the only option, and fearlessly did it, I'm going to ask that person out even if they say no. I'm going to go for that job even if they say no. I'm going to go on that trip and I'm going to give my best. I'm going to try and climb that mountain. Even if I get tired, even if I get halfway through, even if I feel like I can't do it, I'm going to fearlessly love myself. I'm going to fearlessly love my life. I am going to make the memories. I'm not going to look at screensavers. I'm not going to look at other people's stuff on Instagram and be like, oh man, I wish. No, I'm going to go ziplining instead of laying in bed and watching ziplining at 3 o'clock in the morning. I am going to chase my dreams. I'm going to go after it. Instead of saying, how did that person get there? How did that person get there? How did that person get there? How are you going to get there? You think I got to where I am today because I was reading magazines and books about how other people became successful, their road? I don't care about their road. It's not my road. Some people read books and want to carbon copy and follow the road. I don't care about that road. I'm not saying I don't care about that person. I'm saying that was their road. And I'm not saying that they can't help and they can't give me examples. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm saying is I would rather live my life than read about how somebody else lived theirs. I mean, we should get to know each other. We should seek to understand each other. But you have options in your life. You can sit there and read books on how to make money, how to do this, how to do that. And it can help you and it can give you, you can always take advice, but you have to live. I guess that's what I'm saying is because I don't want to say like don't read people's books. There's some good books out there. What I'm saying, so let me rephrase it. Read, but do. Don't just read. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can listen to my show and say, Dan, that was really inspirational. But if you don't apply it, it's then it's inspirational. But then that's it. Then it doesn't do anything. We have to challenge ourselves to go beyond just reading, just looking, just thinking. We have to do it. What I'm trying to say is, hearing other people's stories, hearing about this, hearing about that, seeing somebody do this, seeing somebody do that, going watching a movie, wanting to make a movie. Watching a movie doesn't make me make a movie. It can help inspire me to make a movie, but it doesn't make the movie. That's what I'm trying to say. So I could have worded it better before. My apologies. Is that you can seek outside sources to help you, but you're the one that has to do it. You're the one that has to love fearlessly. What I'm saying to you is, no matter how many books you read and how many things you look at and how many articles and magazines and whatever, is at the end of the day, you are going to have a unique story. You are going to have something that you can't just go back and say, oh, this person went through it in this magazine, so this is what I'm going to do. It's not a foolproof plan. You ever read magazine advice on relationships? It doesn't always work, right? Do this to her, do that to her, say that to her. Some of these magazines are like, be a jerk to her, she'll love you. I'm not going to do that. Because I can't look up at God and be proud of myself for being a jerk, even if it worked. So what I'm saying is, when you're going through life, you have to attack it fearlessly. You have to go after the things that you want, or you're not going to get them. Okay? 100% of the shots you don't take, don't go in. And I know people are like, Dan, that's said all the time. That's a cliche. Yeah, cliches are also like an acronym for truth. Or pardon me, not an acronym. Cliches are a synonym, in my opinion, for truth. A lot of things out there was, oh, that's so cliche, Dan. Yeah, and it's also true. It's also true. There's a lot of cliches out there that speak a lot of truth. And I challenge you today to love fearlessly. Because if you don't love fearlessly, you're going to QUIT. I can't even say the word. It makes me want to throw up. But you're going to do that. You're going to QUIT. You're going to stop. If you don't love fearlessly, you are not going to give yourself the best opportunity to win. People wonder, how do these people become successful? I just read this book. I just saw this magazine. I just watched it. How do these people become successful? Because the people that love fearlessly don't QUIT. They don't stop here. They don't become complacent. They keep going. They keep challenging. All of the things I do in my life and the little sleep that I get and all of the things that I got to think about and go through, I'm constantly saying to myself, what do I want to add? Not because I'm not happy, not because I don't care, but because I have a lot of dreams and I don't want to give up on any of them. I don't want to give up on any of them. And that is something that's really important to me, is not giving up on my dreams. I don't want to give up on my dreams. And I don't want you to give up on yours. I want you to be the best that you can possibly be. I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy your life. Because life is something, folks, that it's going to come and it's going to go. It's going to come and it's going to go. And when it's gone, it's gone. When it's gone, it's done. You need to know that. When life is done, it's done. It doesn't just pop back up. So you have a choice right now. Are you going to live? Are you going to give it your all? Are you going to love fearlessly? Are you just going to kind of sort of get by, and as long as I don't ruffle any feathers or bother anybody, everybody likes me because I don't really bother anybody, I don't really challenge anybody, I don't really do that. I just kind of let everybody do what they want and be what they want, and I don't ask for anything, and I just kind of get by and bop, bop, bop. No. That's not the way that you live. I mean, it's a way you can live your life, but it's not the way to get to where you want to go. Everybody likes me because I don't challenge anybody. I don't challenge myself. I don't push myself to be what I need to be. I'm closed-minded. I don't open my world up. I'm stuck. I'm a hypocrite. Those people that are those things, I'm not saying me, because I don't believe in hypocrisy, but those people that do those things, that say those things, that are those things, folks, that's not good. That's not healthy. That's not going to get you anywhere. You know, that person that's everybody's friend but nobody's friend. You know those people. Everybody's friend but nobody's friend. Everybody loves da-da-da. Well, let me tell you something. If you're chasing your dreams and you're loving fearlessly, some people are going to hate you. They don't love the great... They don't always love the great ones, right? There were people that hated Abraham Lincoln, I'm sure. There are people that disagree with him. There are people that disagree with Albert Einstein. There are people that disagreed with Thomas Edison. There are people that disagreed with Harriet Tubman. There are people that have disagreed with people that were going after things, fearlessly loving, trying the best they could to do things, going against the grain. There are people that did. There are people that didn't like Martin Luther King Jr. You know that? So when it's everybody likes me, everybody gets along, not everybody liked Jesus. Not everybody liked Jesus. The most likable human ever. God in human form. And people are like, nah, he's not for me. There are people still today, he's not for me. So if you're going around and it's like, well, everybody likes me, I must be living life great. If everybody likes you, everybody, literally everybody likes you, nobody's jealous of you, angry at your success, then you ain't doing it right. Because something I had to figure out the hard way is that when you love fearlessly, hate comes to you. When you love fearlessly, you get what you want out of life. I believe that. But hate is there too. Because hate don't want you to have love. Hate doesn't want you to succeed. So if you're flying under the radar, yeah, you might have everybody love you. If you're just kind of doing your thing and just not even flying under the radar, but if you're just kind of getting by, yeah, you might be in a place where everybody likes you. But if you're really going after things, loving fearlessly and putting yourself out there, you're going to have some people that don't like you. That's life. And life is not being about being liked. That's where social media gets it wrong. Because you got to like it, dislike it, like it, dislike it, like it, dislike it. So people think, oh, I got to be liked. No. It's not about being liked in this world. It's about getting back to heaven. And a lot of us lose sight of that. Oh, I made this money. Oh, this girl's dating me. Oh, this dude's dating me. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got it like that. Oh, I got this car. Oh, I got this house. You know. Oh, I got these clicks. I got these followers. I got this, that, and the third. That doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you get back to heaven. It just stops wherever it is. God doesn't care. You really think when you die, God's going to go, wow, you had more likes on Facebook than 80% of humanity. Come right in. God's going to say, wow, you had 80% more likes than most of humanity, but this is the type of content you put up that got liked, and this is not what we're about here in heaven. Or you got this, and this is what we're about. You think God's not letting people in, going, man, you don't have enough Instagram followers, you can't come in. That's not God. I read something that somebody put up yesterday. It's somebody MOET Life, LYFE, so you can go ahead and maybe check out their stuff. It says, when you're not validated by their claps, you won't be broken by their silence. I'm going to say that again. When you're not validated by their claps, you won't be broken by their silence. And that's the thing. The person that's everybody's friend but nobody's friend, they're validated by that. They're validated by the claps. They're validated by that. They need the clap. They need people to go, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're great, you're awesome, oh my gosh, you're the best, you're awesome. And then when they hear silence, they're not awesome. When they hear silence, well, I can't do that. You know, there's some people where they're like, you know what, I'm going to go to church. And if people don't clap for them going to church, they might stop going to church. They're going to chase their dreams. If people don't clap for them chasing their dreams in the beginning, they might stop chasing their dreams because people are supposed to clap. They're waiting for the applause. I don't do this show for applause. It's nice when you get it. Of course it is. The people say, hey, I appreciate your work. That's wonderful. But you think that when I've done things right, I've gotten yelled at, disrespected, put down, stolen from. When you are fearlessly loving something, you're going to create enemies. Think about it. If you married a wonderful person, man or woman, you married a wonderful person, you don't think there's somebody out there wishing that that was their husband, that was their wife? So they might not like you because in their mind, you won the race. They lost. How dare you take what they want? So I would be very careful of the person who everybody likes, who's everybody's friend. Because not everybody likes Jesus. And Jesus is perfect. So you have to be able to go out there and love fearlessly and understand it's not about the likes, it's not about the clicks, it's not about the followers. It's about the fact of fearless love. Loving, but loving when it's hard. Loving when... That's the problem. Why do you think so many people get divorced? They're not loving fearlessly. They're loving when it's convenient. Man, this marriage is hard. Sharing bills is hard. Having to raise these kids is hard. I just want to party. You're not loving fearlessly. Man, my best friend treated me like garbage. I'm never going to have another best friend again. I'm not going to keep anybody close to me again. You're not loving fearlessly. The devil dances and delights when you give up. Not God, the devil. And it's funny how people don't want to believe in God, but they believe in the devil. That makes no sense. God created the devil. God created Lucifer. Lucifer made some decisions, not the greatest ones. How about God? He loves us fearlessly. You think God's not bothered by us? You think he doesn't look down and go, wow, all I do is love these people and look at how they treat me. They don't believe in me. They, burn my crosses. They don't go to church. They don't go to synagogue. They don't go to temple. They don't go to the mosque. They don't talk about me. A bunch of people in the media act like I don't exist. They're trying to take me out of everything. They're trying to stop teaching about me in school. How do you think God feels? But he continues to love us fearlessly. Which is the only reason why this earth still exists, in my opinion, is because God loves us fearlessly. Believing, hoping that we'll come back, that we'll be with him. There's only one way to love. It's fearless. There's only one way to live. It's with love. I'm not telling you you're not going to be afraid at times. I'm telling you got to get over it. In life, if you expect to get everything that you want immediately in this, without any roadblocks, without any having to ad lib and figure things out, you don't understand life. Life is meant to be lived. It's not an easy exercise you can do from the couch. It's something that you have to do in the trenches. And it's something that teaches, but sometimes in teaching, it has to break you to make you. Don't be afraid of it. Because life is a beautiful and wonderful thing to those that live it. But there is a lot of truth to people that spend their entire lives living heartbeat-wise, but not truly living, not truly doing. You can have a heartbeat and be on this planet. That doesn't mean you're alive. So are you willing to love fearlessly? Are you willing to go after the things you want? Are you willing to hear no on the road to the path of what you're hoping and wishing for? Do you believe that God will give you more than you could have ever asked for? I hope you say yes. And I hope you understand it ain't going to be easy. But guess what? When you live life with fearless love, you have the opportunity to create something special, beautiful, and I believe beyond anything you could have ever imagined for yourself. because God has a really cool way of being awesome and taking all those things that we really, really wanted and making them even better than we could have ever thought. Don't give up. What Jim Valvano say? Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Keep loving, keep living, keep being you. Keep having fun in this thing called life. And I look forward to see what you become. God bless you. And remember, today is a beautiful day to do the right thing, to follow God, to trust, and to live with fearless love. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, hanging out with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It is time to jump into the Top Dog of the Week. Top Dog of the Week, proudly presented by the fantastic team at Canine Kamp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Canine Kamp Dog Daycare, located for you on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse. They are there for you all throughout the week. Canine Kamp Dog Daycare for short-term care for your dog. You can call 315-437-7110 for more information. That's 315-437-7110. You can also get in touch with them by Canine Kampground Dog Boarding right down the road from the daycare, and that is for longer-term care for your dog on 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse. And you can call them at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. You can also go to wakeupcalldt.com, and under the Partners tab, you can click on Canine Kamp Dog Daycare or Canine Kampground Dog Boarding and learn more about them there, including having access to their websites for the daycare as well as the campground to get more information, get a look of everything, and make sure that you have everything that you need for your dog's short and long-term stay. They're the only people that I trust to take care of dogs in the community, and I truly appreciate the work that they've done. Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Top dog of the week. Who is going to be my top dog of this week? Folks, who could it possibly be? Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of different places you could go with the top dog of the week. And there's a lot of different things that I can think of here. There's some people that I might want to give a nod to, but I can't release that info yet. So we got some cool news coming up. My top dog of the week for this week is going to be Allison Moreau. Allison is the longtime goalkeeper for the Lemoyne College Dolphins. She has since finished up her time with Lemoyne, and she finished up her eligibility, so she's had the opportunity to go down and work with the Orlando Pride as well as the Tampa Bay Sun FC for the chance to be, I don't want to call it a chance, it is an opportunity for the road that she could play professionally in the world of soccer. Allison Moreau has done an absolute tremendous job. She's one of the first people that I talked to in coming onto campus with Lemoyne and having our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. I am honored and I am privileged to have the wonderful Allison Moreau have had so much time on the broadcast. She is our top dog of the week. We have some great news coming up with her. We're going to have some fun with her and bring you something really special. So, Allison Moreau, we appreciate you. We thank you. I hope you had a great time down in the great state of Florida, and I hope you keep chasing your dreams with fearless love. Congratulations on being voted our top dog of the week. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Ken Niumatalolo, he has spent a lot of time on the broadcast. We've had the opportunity to speak with him in his many years with the Navy midshipmen. I got to meet him years ago via a teleconference, and we continue to talk in person as well as on the phone over the years. I have the utmost respect for him, always love having him on the show, and always love our conversations on and off the air. I think he knows this, but I'm going to say it again because I say it all the time. It is one of my favorite names in humanity, Ken Niumatalolo. So, with that being said, we bring Ken on the show. Ken, how are we doing?
Morning, Dan. How you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So, how are you? You seem mellow today. I know you're on the recruiting trail. So, what's going on?
Well, yeah, I'm here in Los Angeles. It's great being here at UCLA. Obviously, like you said, it's recruiting time, but definitely excited to be here at UCLA.
Yeah, and you and I spoke years ago that there was a potential opportunity to connect with UCLA, and ultimately you stayed at Navy. God works in very purposeful ways. So do you kind of see something poetic about the thought of UCLA in the past and now being at UCLA last year and going into this season as the tight ends coach? Do you feel like in its own way it kind of, those ships that might have passed in the night finally stopped and you had an opportunity to head off to UCLA?
Yeah, I definitely feel like there are obviously things in the works prior to this. Having gotten to know Coach Kelly when he was with the Eagles. He hired Bryce McDonald, his chief of staff, who used to basically was my chief of staff, in the same position at the Naval Academy. Brian Norwood, who coached with me, who were dear friends, knew each other since high school, played college ball together, was with me one year at Navy in 2019, our year that we won 11-2, and he came here in 2020. But also, probably the biggest one then is my son came here just really right before I came here as a graduate assistant. So just all of those pieces in place, made it a perfect landing spot for me to come last year. So, it was definitely a great blessing.
Speaking here with Ken Niumatalolo, the new tight ends coach for UCLA for the Bruins football program. Ken, what brought you to UCLA last year? Bring me into, how it all came about. I know you said all those connections kind of make it truly poetic and special. But for you, when you had that heart-to-heart, when you sat down, prayed about it, thought about it, what ultimately brought you to UCLA?
Well, it's a great question, Dan. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, after the 2022 season. And just with all of those factors, the people that I knew that were here, my son, probably the biggest reason is my son was going to be here. So I was able to work with my other son for 3 years at the Naval Academy. He's still an assistant defensive line coach at Navy. But being with him and his family for the 4 years that he came, that I was with him at the Naval Academy, was a great blessing because he had been at BYU and lived in Utah for the last 8 years or so, and so to be with him was great. But I never really worked with my son. And I thought, wow, what a great opportunity! How many guys get that opportunity? He had been at the University of Utah for the last 7 years, playing and coaching, and so that was probably the biggest factor, along with like I said, Bryce, Brian, Coach Kelly. We were going to be closer to Hawaii, where my dad is still at. My wife's family is from Guam. So obviously, we're a little bit closer to Guam, but still on the other side of the world. But being closer to family, my daughter living in Hawaii was probably a big factor. My wife, it's just we're kind of in the middle now between Annapolis and Honolulu, being in LA, so it allows my wife, which she did this past season, she traveled back and forth a lot to see both of my kids. She was able to see her parents. I was able to see my dad. So probably that factor, just the location, kind of where we were at in our lives, being with my son, those are probably the predominant factors then.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that. And I know that, you and I have always talked about things that go far beyond football. So like you said, you were trying to figure out in recent history, what did you want to do? What was the next step that you were going to take? When you were going through that process, what ultimately called you to continue to be a coach, to continue to stay in this college football world? When you sought an answer to the question, where do I go next? How do you feel like you got the answer, and what was the process like?
Well, like you said, there was a lot of prayer, spiritual person, a man of faith, so just a lot of prayer. I try to see maybe it might be TV, so I interviewed with some, different TV networks. None of it worked out, so but then I thought about, I still love the game. I'm still young. I still got a ton of energy. I think a lot of it is, I don't know, coercing is the right word, but maybe a little bit of a push from people that I know that say, hey, coach, you still got a lot in it. Just hearing from former players and different associates and just, maybe encourage me to stay in the game. Like I said, I knew I was way too young to retire. I knew I had to do something and probably drive my wife crazy if I was at home all the time. And so I knew I was going to stay in the game, and I thought, what a better place to be with, Chip Kelly, learn from him, being around him and seeing his offense has been a blessing, just kind of see how he does things. Seeing how somebody else runs a program was a great insight to me. Then I thought if I ever got back into it, being able to see the transfer portal, being able to see the NIL, being around another offense, all of those things I thought would be beneficial if I decided to get back into it to become a head coach. But then I recognized that, and I think ultimately I was like, I want to be a head coach again. I know I want to be a head coach again. And so all of those factors, and I thought, coming here to UCLA along with being my son might be a great step as it helps me, hopefully propel me back to being a head coach.
That coming here from Ken Niumatalolo on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, the UCLA Bruins tight ends coach. And I appreciate you always being so candid and so open with the conversations. It's something that I greatly appreciate with you. And Ken, when you look at what kind of happened here, when we go back and we reflect upon the fact that you were at UCLA before you took over this job as the tight ends coach, you were already with the program and you were the director of leadership. What was that role, kind of coming off of it, reflecting on it? How would you define the director of leadership and what that job asked you to do and kind of maybe how that helped you to get another tool in your toolbox when you become a head coach again?
Well, it was a job created by Coach Kelly and Bryce McDonald, and it was basically, not only trying to lead, players, but also from a standpoint of maybe help with coaches. It wasn't really defined, as far as exactly what I was going to do. So it's something I basically had to kind of do on a run, but it wasn't a really hard deal for me, Dan. Just from the standpoint that kind of stuff comes natural, I thought. I mean, I'm not good at a lot of things, but, I think being with people and leading people, helping people wasn't really that hard because you just love people. You just, just being around players, being head coach for 15 years, you get used to watching things and seeing how people are acting. And so if I saw a player, with, low shoulders slumped over, his head down, maybe he dropped a pass, or maybe he wasn't having a good day, or, maybe he got yelled at by his coach or something, and I thought, those are times when I'd see him at lunch and kind of step in there and to encourage him to hang in there, to keep working hard, that he's got a lot of talent or whatever the case may be. But also, I had many conversations, many of the coaches from a standpoint of guys trying to become a coordinators, and maybe guys trying to take the step to the next level of being a head coach, and maybe, talking with them, maybe seeing some things that maybe I could help them. I was fortunate. Coach Kelly allowed me to, I went to all the meetings, position meetings, and so I got to see a lot of guys coach, a lot of guys teach. And so maybe if there's something constructive that I could add to the repertoire, to maybe, hey, maybe have you thought about this? Just anything to kind of help them. And many times, I built a great relationship with a lot of the coaches that they would come to me, just maybe some questions about, what do I need to do to go to the next level, or any suggestions. So it was a very natural position for me, because that's in essence what I did as a head coach. But it was more spontaneous. It wasn't like, we had set meetings. We had a couple set meetings with, and I met with each class individually, one time. But other than that, most of it was spontaneous, impromptu, just me seeing people, just talking with guys before and after practice, just seeing guys during practice, meeting them after. But I loved it then. I enjoyed doing it. And like I said, I was able to build a great relationship with all of the players and the coaches. And, it was a natural fit, a natural position. I was grateful that Chip, allowed me to come and help, in that, small capacity.
Did you feel like when, like you said, this role was created, the director of leadership by Chip Kelly, do you feel like it was almost a way of him saying, hey, let me find a way to get you in so that once you're in, we can kind of work you to a spot? Do you feel like that was kind of the intent of Chip Kelly, was like, I want you on my staff, so let's figure out how we can make it work? Because I'd love to know the road of becoming the tight ends coach and how that comes about. But normally when a role is created for someone, not only does that show some respect from the person that created the role to the person that's in that role, but it also, I think, kind of is like, hey, let me find a way to work with you so that we can have something down the road. I mean, bring us into that a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know if that was Chip's intent. Only he would know if that was his intent. But I know, having gotten to know Coach Kelly over the years, being at Philadelphia, I know he's a great patriot. He loves our country. He loves the military. Like I said, came and visited the Naval Academy. We were able to visit, Philadelphia's facility when we play up there. And so I know he had a great respect for the armed services and those that served. Having gotten to know him, I think he had a respect for what we did and the things that we accomplished as a football program at the Naval Academy. And I think, more than anything, maybe it was more of him recognizing maybe there might be something that I could contribute in helping their team. Maybe there's something I could do in a small way to kind of help him build his team in whatever capacity I could do it. Well, I don't think he had a overarching end game that after this I'd become one of his assistants. I think he was just saw me that I was available. I didn't have a job. Thought maybe I could help in some small way, and I was grateful. I was grateful that he gave me the opportunity.
And so to now be the tight ends coach, like you said, you have aspirations of becoming a head coach again. So when you are coaching a position such as the tight ends, what can you say about your excitement for this role, the dedication for this role, what the tight end looks like in UCLA's offense, just what this specific piece can do for you as you step forward, and the opportunity that you have at UCLA specifically to work with their tight end unit?
Well, first of all, they're a great group of young men. The previous coach, Jeff Ferris, who took the job as the head coach at Austin Peay, was a great coach, and I got to know him very well. I got to know all the tight ends very well. So the transition to start, to become their position coach was pretty seamless for me because I knew them very well already. I had spent a lot of time with them and, their group. Having the chance of coaching again at Chip Kelly's offense, the tight ends are very prominent. Coach Kelly uses a lot of personnel groupings, a lot of them with the tight end involved. So it gives us a lot of diversity in some of the packages that he uses. So I think that's it's been great for me to learn kind of how he attacks people, how he uses his tight ends. And so I think all of that, anytime in this profession, you're always learning. You're always getting better. You're always improving. You're always seeing how guys do, people do things. So that was been a great transition for me. Obviously with, kind of transition real quickly into, I think about Coach Saban. I think the thing that he's done better than anybody, he adapts. And so being able to adapt to the style of play, the different things that happen in football, I think he did better than anybody, obviously, that's ever coached the game. And so I think coaching a tight end, Dan, and being in a different offense, being here on the West Coast, you're always learning. You're always learning something in the game and things that I feel like can help you as you continue to try to progress in this profession.
And you talk about progressing. You're at UCLA in a time where they are going to be moving from one conference to another, from the Pac-12, which no longer exists, to the Big Ten. And the first game that will be played in 2024 by UCLA is on the road at Hawaii. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that because, like you said, you have a strong faith. I do as well. It seems all too meant to be that the first game with you as the tight ends coach is going to find you traveling to a place that is home.
There definitely is a lot of irony in that. It just, it would be exciting to go home. My house is minutes from where, the game will be. Excited for that. I mean, going into the Big Ten is definitely very exciting. I mean, you'd have to say, obviously, with Michigan winning last year and Ohio State, the SEC and the Big Ten have kind of solidified themselves as the top two conferences in the country. And so it's going to be exciting. It's going to be challenging. I know everybody involved with our program here at UCLA is excited for this daunting task. It's January. We got a lot of work, but it's an exciting time.
Looking at the state of college football, to look at a grander scope, you and I have talked, like I said, about a lot of things over the years, and you've had a lot of experience in the world of collegiate athletics. Ken, where is college football right now, where the Big Ten now has a west corridor with Oregon and Washington and UCLA and USC? We've seen conferences become mega again, getting to 16, getting to 14, maybe some wanting to get to 18 or 20. Looking at the Big Ten and the fact that they're that one that's in that world of they're the Big Ten, but they're almost the Big 20 at this point. So, you've watched college football. When you're at Navy, you're playing at different places, obviously. When Navy comes into the American, you started to see familiar faces, but Navy's gotten to see historically teams from all over the country. Now that we're seeing this shifting of tectonic plates, and now the West and the Midwest are together, and conference regions doesn't really make sense anymore. Where is college football? Because you at UCLA are going to experience it immediately, playing the Penn States of the world and Minnesota and Rutgers and Nebraska and so on and so forth. So what are your thoughts as a longtime coach about the realignment that has caused a lot of confusion regionally, and also made some conferences look like they, in their own sense, could be a league all their own?
Yeah, it's like you said, that there's a lot of shifts and changes going on. The landscape is definitely different, and it's going to look a lot different next year. I still think it's an exciting time. There's a lot of changes. Some of the stuff will be a little strange. Obviously, seeing different teams play each other. But I think there's a lot of excitement to it. I think the coaches, those involved with the game, everybody's still trying to figure it out. With the different conferences, with the transfer portal, with the NIL, with everything that's going on. It's a different time. The game itself is, I think, at a great place. The product on the field, there are a lot of good players, a lot of good coaches. The evolution of the game itself is at a high level right now. You just, some of the other things that pertain to it, you're not sure if they're sustainable. If, the non-revenue sports, how do they continue to travel, and can programs fully sustain all of these teams, traveling, from coast to coast. There's, the things that'll come up with eventually with, the paying of players and all those things. So that's going to happen. The game's evolving with the NIL deal. Things have changed with the portal. Things have changed. With revenue sharing amongst the players are here, and it's right around the corner. I've heard some people, talk about the, I don't know, maybe the powers to be were trying to hoard the money and stuff like that. I don't think that was ever the case. I think it was people were trying to, is this the student model? Is this the student athlete model that people are trying to? I don't think all the coaches are for players getting what they deserve. But I think for years it was because you're trying to retain the student athlete model, which eventually, obviously, that's out the window. You're basically professional players now, which, if that's the case, is fine. I think just people trying to figure out what's the next step. How do you do it? If people paying players is, I think everybody's recognized that's going to happen. That everybody's fine with that. The NIL and all these things, just having some parameters to it. I think that's the tough part. If we're going to do it, can we have some regulations? Can there be some rules?
Yeah.
And kind of in NFL, there's free agency and different things. That the hard part at the college level is, and it's the wild, wild west, and so it's a little different that way.
Well, and I think the thing is, speaking here with Niumatalolo, UCLA Bruins TEs Coach, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, when you look at the NFL, you're not going to see Trevor Lawrence play for the Jaguars in 2023, the Chargers in 2024, and the Browns in 2025. And so there's this weird world of, collegiate free agency. We call it NFL free agency, but It's actually worse than NFL free agency because you're typically not going to see a guy on 3 teams like that. And in the case of DJ Uyunglele, as an example, we see him at Clemson, then we see him at Oregon State. Now we're going to see him at Florida State. 3 teams in 4 years. There's no restrictions on it anymore. You said you want to be a head coach again. You know what it's like to be a head coach. In the transfer portal now, they say that you can't contact anybody and tell them to get in the transfer portal, but that's happening. They say you can't use NIL to entice somebody to come into the transfer portal to essentially buy them, but that's happening. They say that, the commitment to the team and this, they call it a team, but we know that that's not always the case. So guys are running from competition. Guys are running from, I wanted to start and I'm not starting and I got to work my way up to it. It is the wild, wild west, and it's become a place where NIL and the transfer portal, NIL is using the transfer portal. Coaches have staffs that are studying everybody else's teams and their roster to be ready for the transfer portal. There's so many things happening that a coach has to essentially re-recruit their players, all 85 scholarships plus walk-ons and so on and so forth. I mean, you have to re-recruit every year, plus you have to recruit, plus you have to hope that your peers are not texting your players or going up to them in pregame or postgame and saying, hey, that was a great game. If you come and play for such and such, we're going to get you this amount of money. It's a lot going on. I mean, I set up the question, but I could go another hour and a half in the setup of the question. What are we going to do, Ken? Because this is a world right now where it's not free agency in the NFL. It's free agency with no restrictions, and even the restrictions aren't being enforced.
Now, what's Coach Saban's, I guess his interview with Reese Davis yesterday, and he mentioned some stuff about trying to get involved to try to help the game, and just kind of reading what he says, and I don't know if exactly what he meant. I think would like to be involved to try to figure this out. For the betterment of the game. What's the way that we can do things so that the players get what they deserve, which all coaches are for. That they need to be rewarded. For all of their hard work and all they bring to the game, because they're, obviously players win games, but how do you do it in a fair and systematic way that's sustainable? And I'm interested to see and, listening to Coach Saban, he didn't exactly know. I don't think anybody, exactly knows all that, but, I think that'd be a great start to have the greatest of all time being in that room with other smart people and just trying to figure out what's the best way that we can hopefully, systematize this a little bit and where it can be a little bit more sustainable. And I'm hopeful that they'll come up with some things. Like you said, I don't know all the transfer stuff. One guy was saying, or one thought is maybe everybody needs to be able to transfer because all of us, change your mind. But maybe the second time, maybe there's something if you transfer a second time, you have to sit out like the old time. I don't know. Maybe the penalties you sit out for a year, so it can kind of maybe still allow a person to make that decision if he wants to leave. But then here are the consequences. You have to sit out a year on the second transfer. Because like I said, people change jobs all the time and people change stuff. So that's your prerogative. But sometimes when you change a job, it doesn't mean the compensation is the same or you have the same things. You might have to make a decision, but that you also have to take the consequences with decisions. And that's the thing I think maybe we can get a system where there's something that kind of helps put it in a fair way, but also some way where there's some ramifications. But I don't know. It's going to be exciting to, like I said, to hear Coach Saban talk. I'm excited because it sounds like he's bent on being a part of, helping our great game.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody that can do it, it's him. I mean, he's, I think when he talks, people listen. But I also know with Coach, just, watching from afar, just he's also going to listen. He's also going to take into things account. And he's going to adjust, just like he's done with his offensive, defensive program. And so hopefully him, some other smart people, and others can get together to maybe try to do something to kind of make this more sustainable.
Yeah, and Ken, I mean, there needs to be parameters, right? There needs to be some type of way of protecting from the coach reaching out to a player and saying get in the portal, and at the same time NIL not being used, of somebody saying, hey, if I get in the portal, I'm going to get 10 grand from them, I'm going to get 20 from them, I'm going to get 50 over here. Again, I mean, if Tom Brady, if the NFL was like college football is right now, Tom Brady could be the Patriots quarterback, win a Super Bowl, then go to the Browns because the Browns offer him more money, try to win there, then go to the Dolphins and try to win there, and it just seems like there's like this lack of team. We're more of a focus on me right now. I do believe that with the NCAA saying that it's a non-for-profit, yet they're $1 billion industry, that student athletes should make something, and the overwhelming majority of student athletes, once they finish in college, will never play professionally. So the only time that they have to make money on their name, image, and likeness when it comes to sports is in college. So I do believe that there should be something there. But for you, I mean, you say you want to be a head coach again. You're watching Chip Kelly go through it now, your staff's going through it. Is this something that you can get behind and get around if we don't have certain parameters? What are your thoughts on being a head coach, re-recruiting 85 guys, going to have to find re-recruiting whoever's coming back whose eligibility is not over, recruiting other guys, trying to hope that your players are going to come to you and say, when somebody reaches out to them, that they're going to show you the text message, that you got to be NIL savvy, that you're going to have to, be able to kind of jockey back and forth. I mean, the things that weren't expected of a head coach before, this giant pile of new, when you say, I want to be a head coach again, what do you think about the fact that, let's say, okay, fast forward, Ken Niumatalolo is a head coach, and now you're dealing with NIL, transfer portal, all of this rule breaking that's not really rule breaking and no parameters, and having a great team and a great quarterback, and you finally got the corner you want in the offensive tackle and the quarterback, but now all of them said to you, hey, I'm only going to stay here if you bump up my NIL money. What are your thoughts on having to be in that world?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough world, and it's definitely different than I mean obviously being here, I've seen it's a different world, and like all the things you said, I think everybody's for helping them, the players, but hopefully there's some things that can be where there's just a system in place, and but other than, I mean, it's part of it, and it's a lot different obviously than when I got into the profession, almost 35 years ago. Or 35 years ago, it's a lot different, but it's tough. But it is what it is. You're hopeful that there'll be some changes, and I think there will be some. I think guys are figuring it out. There's a lot of good parts of it. I mean, I think the college football playoffs is going to be an awesome deal. And I just hopefully, things can get worked out here.
A couple final notes with Ken Niumatalolo. One about home, and I'm going to save that for last. But the reality of a long time that you spent with Navy as their head coach. You were with them when they were independent. You were with them when they joined the American Athletic. Reflecting on hindsight 2020, what are your thoughts on the decision of Navy joining a conference and what that did for the midshipmen and the program? And now that Army is also joining the American, what's your take on that? That now that Navy, Army-Navy game is still going to be the Army-Navy game, but at the same time, you were a huge part of history. Navy had been independent for over 100 years. You go into the American, and now very recently, since you parted ways with Navy. Now Army is coming into the American as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was grateful that we were able to go. I mean, you compete in the high level in there. 3 times in the 7 years, I think we tied for the West Championship. It was tough. But you could have stayed independent and kind of picked your schedule and kind of had some sure wins. Maybe continue to schedule some teams in there that you knew were W's. But I thought it was right for our program to get into the American. It was a great experience. It's really tough. The American Conference has changed, like you said, with additions of teams, and but it's the face of college football is changing. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Will football go where there's a top 65, and what will happen to everybody else? What will happen to the other conferences, and what part of football? Where would they be in this whole piece of the puzzle? I'm not sure. As the landscape changes, and it'll be interesting to see how everything falls out.
Final note, we know that, and since you and I have spoken on the show, we know that obviously wildfires ravaged through Maui, and the devastation of a beautiful place and beautiful people. I have not been physically to Hawaii, but I've had the opportunity to speak with people actually through college football that call Hawaii home, and the way that they've spoken about the culture, about the people, about, you have your family, but here on these islands, there's an extended family. There's certain things that we expect of each other, and it just sounds like a state inside of the United States that just handles things very differently in a collective grouping as opposed to every man for himself. So I'd love to, as a final note here with Ken Niumatalolo, for you to speak on the culture of Hawaii, as well as being Maui strong, and what we can continue to do to help, because that was one of the most insane things that I think we've had to see, is just paradise essentially struggling, and to know that so many people within this culture that I've heard only good things about suffering through something that they had no control over.
Like I said, Dan, a horrific time for the people on Maui, the people of Hawaii, for humanity. That was a horrific time. The fires and all the tragedy that occurred because of it, loss of life, obviously first and foremost, and the devastation of the island. I think some of the things that, you read about, you don't know all this going on, but encouraged to hear how the people came together to help each other. Just the rumblings that came, just sounded like, the people on the island were not too pleased with, the way our government helped, the way the state officials helped. People felt like the help could have been better. But, you read and saw a lot of encouraging things, how the people came together. So that's, to see people come together to help one another was definitely great. And I think people, from outside the state and people around the world helped to contribute in ways that, whatever way they could, was definitely heartwarming to see. But, there's a lot of tragedies happen throughout the world, and I think all of us, just as humans, just try to help each other, and is, very grateful to see people from Hawaii, people from Maui, the Ohana, the people helped each other, but also others from around the world, step up to help. Was definitely a great thing to see.
Coming from Ken Niumatalolo. Ken, I know you're on the recruiting trail. I know you got a lot of things to get to today, so I appreciate you spending some time. UCLA Bruins tight ends coach. Great music to my ears to hear you say that you want to be a head coach again. I look forward to that opportunity and what's to come in your journey, as well as what's to come this season with UCLA. And as always, as I've said to you for over a decade, I'm honored and privileged to speak with you and to have the bond that we have. So thank you for your time, and thanks for the friendship, man. I appreciate you.
Always great talking to you, Dan. Likewise, I appreciate your friendship, and all the best to you, brother. Happy New Year.
You too. Happy New Year, brother. Take care. That coming from Ken Niumatalolo. One more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We'll take a quick step aside, wrap up the show right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, proudly here in our community on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Head to GG Cards and Breaks to find wonderful people that care so much about the hobby. They collect cards to this day. They open up cards. They go into those boxes and those packs to see what they can get. It's great to be in a place where the ownership loves the hobby. It's not just, hey, yeah, we're selling stuff that people want. It's we're selling stuff that we want. We're selling stuff that we care about. We want to see you get your favorite player. We want to see you get your favorite team. We want to be able to call you up and say, hey, guess what just came in? So there's some great stuff to be said about GG Cards and Breaks and that customer service, that guest service that goes above and beyond. And that's why they're my favorite sports card shop. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Packs, boxes, singles, graded cards. You're looking for hockey, soccer, all sports, basketball, football, baseball, Pokemon, Disney, Lorcana. You'll find it all throughout the year at GG Cards and Breaks. They also have a back wall of every MLB, NBA, and NFL team. I don't know anybody else that has that takes the time to make a box for each team of every MLB franchise, NFL franchise, and NBA franchise so that I can walk in there as a Toronto Raptor, Arizona Diamondback, Jacksonville Jaguar fan, and I can find cards that I want to bring home. And they're not just base cards. They're rookie cards, they're parallels, they're refractors, some of them are patch cards, autos. There's a lot of great stuff that you're going to find in those boxes. So don't just turn around and go, oh, okay, yeah, that's a box of the, New York Knicks. Well, it's probably just a bunch of base cards that nobody wants. No, there's some really great cards in there. I've found some awesome finds. GG Cards and Breaks. It's attention to detail. It's care to go there and say, we want you to come in and find your Major League Baseball team. We want you to come in and find your National Football League team. We want you to, see our product is ever changing. We're trying to get different things in. We're trying to pay attention to the times. We're getting unique stuff like helmets where you can open up a box that has a helmet in it and you don't know what signature you're going to get on that helmet. So there's so many wonderful things. We do box breaks there. We do pack breaks there. And I just want to thank Josh and Anthony for their incredible work, their tireless work to really bring about something that is unique and just special and positive in this hobby world. In the world we live in today, there's, those getaways, those things that we can do that are happy and positive and bring us back and can transport us through time. And, the same hobby, new memories, that approach is what you get at GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. I look forward to seeing you there, and let them know that DT sent you when you go inside. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to give a wonderful thank you to everybody that's been with us on youtube.com and facebook.com/wakeupcalldt for both, as well as on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, they hop into the archives on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Thanks to our wonderful, incredible partners, we implore you to go and visit these partners in our community. They're not just businesses that are out there like every other business when you drive by and go, that's a business, that's a business. No, these ones have a spotlight on them from Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora because they do things in a really special way. Incredible people. Jay and his team at Carvel DeWitt, Danny and his team at the Wildcat Sports Pub, Jim and Angela and their squad at Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Josh, Anthony, and the crew at GG Cards and Breaks, Pat and Sue at PB&J's Lunchbox with their team, John and the awesome staff at Avicoli's, Great Lakes Honda City, Mark and the crew there to help you find your next ride, Pizza Man, the Delia family and their wonderful staff at Mother's Cupboard, Pete, Amy, and their wonderful team, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, led by our fearless leader of Jimmer Sikowski and their fantastic group of team members that spread faith and joy and positivity every single day, and the wonderful, unmatched Lorraine and Chad at Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding and their incredible staff. Go out and see them all today. We cover a lot of bases here, right? We got your ice cream. We have a bunch of different restaurants as well as your snack capital at Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, your sports card and memorabilia collecting place at GG Cards and Breaks, as well as a place to get your vehicle to get to and from wherever you're going at Great Lakes Honda City. We have exclusive stuff like the DT Dolphin at Carvel DeWitt and the Cuse McMother, my sandwich, bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich, cut it up, and have it with some syrup at Mother's Cupboard, as well as a place to bring your dog for short and long-term care at Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. A lot of wonderful people. Thank you so much for all you do. And, of course, the wonderful people where we are exclusive partners at with the Lemoyne College Dolphins that we appreciate so very much. And I want to give them a true shout out for all the work that they do and all that tireless effort that they bring to the table as well. Your Lemoyne College Dolphins are exclusive multimedia marketing partners. The Lemoyne College Dolphins here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Wednesdays is Dolphin time at 9 a.m. Eastern time. You'll hear from the Dolphins Wednesdays at 9, AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, the first and third Monday of each month, or Wednesday of each month, pardon me, first and third Wednesday of each month. And then the second and fourth Wednesday of each month, the Dolphin Dive, diving into stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You can find all this content by go ahead and subscribing to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And, of course, you can also find them on wakeupcalldt.com underneath the exclusive partners tab for BSC Syracuse, for the Lemoyne underneath the exclusive partners tab, finding Lemoyne. So go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and see the Lemoyne Dolphins playlist. You can also find them under the exclusive partner tab on wakeupcalldt.com. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com and make sure you go there today at 3 o'clock where you have the opportunity to see Senior Day in their swim meet that's going on today, January 12th at 3 p.m. is when it starts on campus at Lemoyne. And tomorrow, the men's basketball team plays their first ever NEC game in their new conference in Division I, in their first season as a Division I program. They will make history with their first Northeast Conference game in that new conference. Their first game at home is going to be this Saturday, January 13th at 2 o'clock. And I look forward to seeing you out there. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. As always, fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bobcats every single month right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with a spotlight that you've never had before on these wonderful Bobcats, student athletes, coaches, and administration joining me. Men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, baseball, esports, and more. You could find your Bobcats right here, and you could go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, hit the notification bell, click subscribe, and you will find our playlist of Bobcat Buzz specials on our BSC Syracuse playlist. So make sure you find that and bookmark that for yourself. You can also find the Bobcats on wakeupcalldt.com under the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. A lot of great stuff coming up, some great news coming up with the Bobcats, where sports meets life. Go Bobcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank Carvel for their incredible and wonderful ice cream, as well as the DT Dolphin. Go out and get it today. And thanks to them for the annoying moment of the week. Thanks to Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. So much more than a chicken sandwich. I wouldn't say go to Chick-fil-A. I would say go to Chick-fil-A and specifically make your way to Cicero and Clay. Fantastic teams that I've gotten to know over many years. I love Chick-fil-A, and I absolutely positively think we're spoiled with the Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay staffs. And thanks to their connection with Lead, as well as our The Light Between Us series that I sit down with team members from Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay and tell their inspirational stories to spread positivity in a world that definitely needs it. Big time shout out to K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding for the top dog of the week. And shout out to my top dog of the week, the longtime Lemoyne Dolphins goalkeeper who has had an opportunity recently to go to combines for professional women's soccer teams, and that being Allison Moreau. Big time shout out. And many thanks to her. She is our top dog of the week. God bless you and yours, Allison. And we only hope the best for you always. And, of course, a big time thanks to Ken Niumatalolo, the UCLA Bruins TEs Coach, who has said on the show that he has aspirations of returning as a collegiate football head coach. And I look forward to that day. God bless Ken Niumatalolo and his wonderful family. Truly appreciate all the work that he's done and appreciate his friendship beyond all of that. With that being said, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to seeing you at Lemoyne today for the swim meet, as well as at Lemoyne tomorrow for the first NEC home game for men's basketball. In the meantime, God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk soon. Be well and stay safe.